everyone should be logging into the Trailhead, right? Trailhead as well as the Salesforce account. So you should know what is the login URLs to log into the Salesforce. So developer.salesforce.com is not the URL, proper URL to log into the Salesforce. That helps you to create the Salesforce account. The right URL for login into the Salesforce is login.salesforce.com is the proper URL. So the one who mentioned as a login.salesforce.com is the right answer. So login.salesforce.com. And parallelly, and the second question, like, what is the URL helps you to log into the Trailhead? What is the login URL helps you to log into the Trailhead? So for this, the answer would be like trailhead.salesforce.com. Exactly who is mentioning in the chat like trailhead.salesforce.com. You are right for this time, trailhead.salesforce.com. And last question for this session I'm having is like, what is the use of the Trailhead? What is the use of the Trailhead? So most of the people are mentioning like different kinds of things, and in that I do pick some of them. Like there's a self-paced learning where you can learn by yourself without any kind of support or something else. And Trailhead is a place where you will be getting a hands-on knowledge, real-time project-oriented learning. So with it, you can completely know about the sales or what is Trailhead. Trailhead is a free learning platform. Even we need not to pay for that when you want to learn something on the Trailhead. So not only the Salesforce, there are multiple things there on the Trailhead URL like Heroku software, Microsoft, MuleSoft, Heroku, Tableau, Analytics, Salesforce. So these are the different kinds of base. For all this kind of software, the only base we do have in a free learning platform is Trailhead. So Trailhead is not only meant for the Salesforce, it also means for the subsidiary of the Salesforce. And even yes, someone who mentioned like Amit Bhatta, like even soft skills also there in the Salesforce. That's on a free platform. I agree with you, right? Okay. So I think everyone is having their Salesforce account, right? I think everyone is having their Salesforce account.
Recording in progress.
So everyone has created the Salesforce account. And in the first session, if you remember that when I'm trying to create a Salesforce account, unfortunately, there wasn't a delay in getting a link for the account which I have created. You can see on that day, first I have been tried with a quote@thesmartbiz.com, right? So there isn't a delay for that. And after the session, I have checked my mail thoroughly. I got a mail for the account which I'm trying to create. You can see this is a mail. Even for the second time, I have tried with the smartbridge@code3.com, right? For this also, I got the mail. So what I did is I have verified this account. I have tried to log into this account. So hopefully I was able to log into this account. So let me show you that this is the account which I'm using there. So let me start from the beginning for this. So in the last session, we have seen that how to create the Salesforce account. So successfully we have created the Salesforce account. Now successfully we try to log into our Salesforce account. So as you mentioned that the login URL helps to log into Salesforce is like login.salesforce.com. Login.salesforce.com is a URL helps you to log into Salesforce. So hitting on the enter. Once I'm hitting on enter, this is the username which I'm giving here. This is the username which I'm giving here, and this is my password. I just clicking on the enter. Just hitting on the enter or clicking on the login. Both helps the same task. Right. So I have been logged into my Salesforce account. And can someone mention that what is this 9 dots? What does this 9 dots do in the Salesforce? What does this 9 dots mean for? What do we call that? The 9 dots in the Salesforce, we call that as an app launcher. What does the app launcher do? App launcher is in a place where it consists of applications as well as objects in it. Applications and the objects in it. Right. On that day, we have seen all the interface of the Salesforce, user interface of the Salesforce. And today, the first thing we're gonna see is company settings. Company settings. Like if you want to go for the company settings, what are these company settings? So visually, let's assume that we are the first, we are one company members. We decided to work on the, we decided to run on the, decided to run our business on the Salesforce platform. So initially, might be using different kinds of hard copy files, and we might be using Excel sheets, or we might be using different kinds of hard data where we're going to maintain for our business purpose. So what we thought is like we were unable to able to maintain the data on the spreadsheets or somewhere else in the Excel sheets. So our company decided to move to a software. Our company decided to move to a CRM software, and with a lot of discussions, they got finalized with the Salesforce is a right platform where we're gonna use it. So Salesforce is the right platform where we're gonna use it. So finally, our company people purchased the Salesforce. So after the purchasing of the Salesforce, what are the primary things that we need to do in our Salesforce account? So let's assume that you are a system administrator, or you are a system architect, or you are a system consultant, or you are a Salesforce developer. So anyone in the Salesforce, they are the responsible. If anyone in the Salesforce, they are the responsible person who maintain all this kind of data for a company. Like initially, they need to come for the company settings. They need to make default settings to the company settings. Let's assume that when we are buying this Salesforce, when you are purchasing this Salesforce, so initially the origin of the Salesforce is from the California. So all the settings which are there, like time zone settings, language settings, which are there for the Salesforce account will be of California itself. So let's assume that our business is situated in the India. So what target of doing? So you are the whole and sole responsible person who will be able to change the settings from the default settings to the required company settings. Default settings to the required company settings. So company setting is a direct option which is there in the Salesforce. Or if you go for the company settings, under the company settings, you can see multiple things. Under the company settings, you can see multiple things. So what we do is, first we do create a company information. We go for the company information. We change the general information of the company, what we are looking for. So according to whatever we want. So let me go to the company settings and just click on this. So let's assume that this is your company name. If anything is wrong here, you can also change that. If anything is wrong here, you can also change that. So in my case, let me do like this. This Markbridge, and this is their primary contact. Who is this contact? See, when we are creating our Salesforce account, the account which we have given as a first name and last name, the fellow is then a primary contact for this. The fellow is then a primary contact for this. And if your company is having any kind of phone number and the fax for that, and then which division your company belongs to, which division your company belongs to, like you can enter all this. Even you can enter the address and come to the local settings. So local setting is nothing but the location of the company, where the location of the company is located. So then default location. Default location is there as an US United States English. So we will make that as an India now. We will make that as an India. English India. You can see English India will be there in this. You can say English India. And the default language you would like to use is like English, or whether you want to go for any kind of language like Japanese, French, something like that. If you're knowing the language, you can also change this language. So my suggestion, sincere suggestion for you people is not to change the language here. Just stick to the English, because let's assume that if I'm changing this language to any kind of Japanese and just clicking on save, so all the interface just changes to the Japanese language. So if you're not knowing Japanese, how you can come here and change the language again to the English? So my sincere suggestion to you people is to not to change the default language settings. So let it be as it is. How does it look? And the next option, what I would like to talk is like time zone. The time zone which is mentioned here is of Los Angeles, American Los Angeles. So our company is situated in India. So let me change settings from Los Angeles to India. I do have a query in the chat. Is this mandatory for everyone to set up the company information? See, when you're working for an organization, if you are the only one person who is there in the organization, and you are the senior person in the organization who is taking care of the Salesforce platform, then In that case, you are the responsible person to change this all kind of settings. Most of the times you may not get chance of editing all these things. But let's assume that you are the only person who is there in the company who knows the Salesforce. Then all this responsibility will comes to you. So you are the person. So this is a good to know information for you all you people. If you want to continue as an a Salesforce stream, so these are the basic general information that should be known. And this webinar is particular for the administrator, right? Hope you got the why I'm telling these basic things in the Salesforce. See, completion of the trial module is different, like where you get the knowledge. But what I'm trying to tell you people is like a real-time work of the Salesforce. How does a real-time work of the Salesforce works? How in a company you utilize the Salesforce? What are the basic structures of the Salesforce? Right? Hoping that is clear to you too. I'm just going for the further. And just choosing here as a time, Indian time zone, that will be of +5 India. Yeah, you can say +5 India Standard Time, Asia, Kolkata. Right? Another thing is like currency settings. Currency. What is the currency of India? So currency of India is IST. Let me choose IST. You can see even Tamil is there, Telugu INR is there, everything will be there. Even for the English also there will be a INR. English INR, you can see. So that's all depends upon your company, whether you, in which language of your company is using, whether your company is using Telugu language, whether your company is using Tamil language, whether your company is using Hindi language. So every currency will be there here. So when I'm mentioning it as an English INR, it shows in the English format. When I'm mentioning it in a Tamil, it shows in the Tamil format. When I mention it in Telugu, it shows in the Tamil format. That was the thing here, right? And the activate multiple currency. This option comes helps you when when your company is situated in the different kinds of businesses, different kinds of location. Like one branch is there in India, one branch is there in USA, one branch is there in London, one branch is there in Canada. So why this multiple currency do? So let's assume that I was creating one record. So in that there is a field called fees. There is a field called fees. Like I was paying some fees for that. So when I'm entering the details from India, I do enter in the INR format, like 10,000 or 20,000 or something like that. The one who is in the USA, who is looking to my record, which I have created, the currency should be converted to the USA dollar, right? The currency should be converted to the US dollar, right? This is the option which helps you. Once you activate this multiple currency, automatically, if someone is there, if the user is there from the USA, the amount which you are entering here will gets converted automatically, according to the charges which you are giving here. So it displays in the format of the US dollar. It displays in the format of the US dollar. And even my sincere suggestion for you people, until unless you're not using this activate multiple currency, try not to activate this. So why I'm telling you to not to activate this, once you activate this, you can't uncheck this box again, because eternally Salesforce go to the lot of code. Salesforce backend part of the Salesforce go with a lot of code, which it cannot come back from that code to the default settings. So that's the reason I'm not suggesting, until unless you're not going to use this activate multiple currency, try not to check this box and try not to click on the save. So just leave this as it is. And these things are very simple things, just making it safe. So what I did is like just I have saved, just I have changed the settings like local settings and the currency settings, all these things, just clicking on save. Okay, I agree with this and just making it save. This is all about the company information. Thereafter, talking about the financial year. So can someone mention what is the financial year of an India? What is the financial year of India? What is the starting month of India? What is the starting month financial year of India and ending month financial year of India? April to March. Everyone is that starting? I'm just asking what is the ending month of an ending month, right? Everyone is right. March is the right answer. So just making it to March because we are there in India. For our company, we are the responsible person to make this all these kind of changes. Just making it March. So when, where does it helps? Where does it helps? Like this financial year, where does it help? So let's assume that you are using the Salesforce from 1 year. So once the financial year has come, what our company do calculate all the revenue has been sorted in this 1 year, right? So when you're taking the history of these things, this financial year helps over there. This financial year helps over there. Like taking 1 year of data, from where it need to consider, whether it need to consider from the January to December or whether it need to be considered from the March to April. Since we are there in the India, our financial year is of from March to, like ending month is the March and the starting month is in April, right? So that's the reason we need to enter here financial year. And just how that is an ending month is in a March and just hitting on save. And if you want to give any kind of custom physical year also, you can do that. Like some countries do have ending month and the starting month are both same. Ending month and the starting month will be having a so same. Like January will be their starting month and the ending month will be also again January. Ending month also will be there January. So some countries are there with the having same month as an ending month and the same month as an starting month, right? And the language settings, like this is the particular language settings. What are the languages which are there supported for this Salesforce? All the languages will be mentioned here. And as of now, I'm not doing anything, just showing you people. And the physical year is done, holidays. And this is the place where you can define the holidays for your company, like how many holidays are there in this financial year. So every year, that's our responsibility of coming here and putting the holidays for our company members. Like for this financial year, what are the holidays we have been decided? So what does this holidays do? So let's assume that tomorrow there is a holiday. So we have declared tomorrow as a holiday. If someone in our company trying to log in into the Salesforce on a non-working day, it throws in a warning or it doesn't allow user to log into it. Got the point? So it throw in an error or it will throw in a warning to the user, or according to the according to the things what we are giving to data. So when we give, it should be allowed the user to log in, but it should throw in a warning. Or else it shouldn't log in the user on a non-working day. So that's all depends on our business procedure, how our business is running. So we do define in that way. So let me create a quick holiday here. Just going for new. So let me create one Independence Day. So because Independence Day is a recurring, right? I need not to come every year and I need not to create. Just if you want to give any kind of description, just go for the description and just mention the description, whatever you want there. And what was the date? Date comes here with an August 15th. Just pick an August 15th and the time holiday I want, or whether in a particular time you want to give as a holiday. So just want to give a holiday as a holiday. And whether this is a recurring holiday or not. If that is a recurring holiday, just record this recurring holiday. And how you are defining that's a recurring holiday. So what I'm doing is here there is a frequency. You can see in that frequency what I'm choosing here. It comes, this Independence Day comes once in a year, right? So what I do here, I do come here and I do choose as an yearly, and then after I do go for the on every August 15th. On every August 15th. There any end date for Independence Day? As of now, there is no end date for the Independence Day. It will be recurring for every year. Automatically, this will be recurring for the every year. Just hitting on the save now. So hope everything is clear here. How to define a holiday. Just hitting on the save. Finally, that is done. So even though that is in a holiday, if you want to assign any kind of business hours for this holiday also, you can also define add a business holiday. As of now, there is no business holiday. A default business holiday is there. So just adding that. Even you can also create a new business holiday. Like just go for the business hours on the top of the screen, right corner, left corner. Here you can click on the new business hours. So you can define like in a particular timings, like an off time work. See, let's assume that in your company there are some users. In your company there are some users who works on the off time of the company. So for them, you want to allow them to log into the Salesforce, even though that is an off time of the company. So we do add some business users for this particular users, and we do assign these business users to the whomever you want. We do assign these business users to the whomever you want, like in a particular business day, right? And you can also comes this within an Indian standard time, whatever you want here. That's all there. How does the user think? So this is upon a user perspective. This is about the this all things belongs to the company settings, like how the company is behaving, right? So I think most of the things, the most important part has been covered here in the company settings. So let me go to the data model now. Let me go to the data model. When I'm talking about the data model, what does it mean? Like if you talk any business, so talk any business. Let me put over this chart. So let me take an example here. Let me go with an Excel sheet and let me make you people very easy. Just confirm me that mine Excel sheet is visible to you people, right? The sheet which I have been open, right? Okay. We do, so exactly we are doing for the next 5 days. So let me tell you that we do create application in the Salesforce. We create application in the Salesforce, which is real-time working environment. Like let's assume that we're gonna build application for kind of for a college. See, is CRM is useful for the college kind of infrastructure? Can we use CRM tool for a college? Can we use CRM tool for a college? Like, is it possible to use? Because in the beginning session, I have told you people like any industry you do take, there is a need of the CRM tool. So in the same way, we do consider example for us is in a college. So we do build an application for the college. So this is the application. So when you want to deal about the college, who are the members there what are the entities there in the college? So if you talk about the entities, the entity comes with a student in that, and the employees in that. Employees where what does it mean is like teacher or something like that, right? Employees in that, and what else? So like in the same way, course, like what kind of which stream they belongs to, like course, student, employee, course. So what does these things call? These things called object in the Salesforce. These things called object in the Salesforce. So these are the objects in the Salesforce. This is an application in the Salesforce. And I just want to ask one more thing. If you people are from the CSC background or IT background, you might be having a subject called DBMS, where this subject particularly deals about the database. This subject particularly deals about the database. So what does it do exactly in the database? When you're talking about the data types, we do save the data, right? How are we gonna save this data? We're gonna save this data in the form of tables. So let's consider this is one table. The entire this thing will consider as one table. The ABCD on the top, you can see the ABCD on the top, you can see we do consider them as an rows in the DBMS, sorry, columns in the DBMS. And the records, the 1, 2, 3, 4 things, the values which are given for these tables, we do consider them as an rows. See, this is not about the story of the Salesforce, this is the story about the DBMS systems. So let me drag that system from the DBMS to our Salesforce. See, this is then a table in the Salesforce, like a DBMS system, and this is the column in the Sales DBMS system, and this is then a row. This is then a row when you're talking the DBMS system. Then what changes when you come to the Salesforce? What gets changed when you come to the Salesforce? So when it comes to the Salesforce, what happens is we do name this table as an object. We do name this table as an object, and we do name this column as a field. We do name this column as a field, and if we do name this rows as a records. We do name this rows as a records. Records are nothing but when we are entering a student data here, we do call that as a one record. When we are entering the employee details here, we do call that as a one record. When we are entering course details, we do call that as a one record. Got the point? Clear, right? Till here, everything is clear, right? Nothing is confusing here. Right? So you got to know that how to interlink, how to integrate, how to think when you're talking about the table, column, rows, all these things. So what is object here? These are the object in Salesforce. And what are the fields? The value. See, let's assume that if you want to take a student name, for that, there should be some field which is asking about the student name, like first name, the last name, the phone number of the student, email ID of the student, email of the students. So these are we call as fields. This is nothing but the metadata, the data about the data. Data about the data. So what are these? These are something like data. So what this data is doing, this data is taking the data of a student. This data is taking the data of a student. So we do consider them as an so these are the fields. So this is an object, these are the fields. And if I entering the value like this, like B Rakesh, which is my name, and something like this phone number and email ID, something like this, right? Oops. Right? So we do call this thing we do call as a record in the Salesforce. So if I'm typing on more like a Jane Mac, if the Jane Mac number is like this, if I'm doing Mac at the rate Jane, we also call it as a record in the Salesforce. So this is clear, just deleting this. So if you recall these first name, last name, phone, email ID as a fields in the Salesforce, where this record one, record two, we do call as a records in the Salesforce. The data which is collecting about the student, we do call that as an object in the Salesforce. If you are storing this employee course student in one set of bucket, we would call that as an application in the Salesforce. Application is Salesforce. Now you got that right differences. What is how do we differentiate field? How do we differentiate an application? How do we differentiate the objects, different types of objects in the Salesforce, and what are the records in the Salesforce? Just put a thumbs up over the chat so that I can go for the further. Right? Yeah. So let me start with another thing. So when you talk about the Salesforce, in Salesforce, we do have two different types of objects. In Salesforce, we do have two different types of objects. What are they? That comes within a standard object. Standard object. Other things comes within a custom object. Custom object. What is this standard object and what is this custom object? What is this standard object and what is this custom object? Standard objects are the objects directly given by the Salesforce when we are creating a Salesforce account. These are the standard objects. Like when you talk about the standard objects, you can consider account is a standard object. Like the account which you have created, the Salesforce account which you have created, in that there will be one object called account, contact as an object, contact as an object, read as an object, and many more like this. So these are the standard objects in the Salesforce. And not only these three, there are multiple things. When you talk about the custom objects, what is this? Custom object is an object which we were created for our business case. Custom object is an object which we were created for our business case. Like the object which we are creating here. What is the object which we are creating here? Student is in a custom object. Teacher is in a custom object. Okay. A course is in a custom object. Course is in a custom object. Department is in a custom object. Department. So in that way, many things. Whatever the object which you have created, what are the objects which you have created, we do consider them as a custom object in the Salesforce. The object which is there in the Salesforce, directly given by the Salesforce, we do consider them as standard objects. So let me show you that what are the standard objects in the Salesforce. Let me show you that where does this standard object can be found. So go to the Salesforce org. So let me go to the unique applications. What is this application? This app launcher do? App launcher is in a place where it stores applications in it as well as an objects in it. So when I'm clicking on those list of things which are displaying here, let me click on view all. When I'm clicking on a view all, you can see option called all apps. Apps indicates applications. So when I'm clicking on this all apps, you can see yeah. So sorry for the trouble. Okay. Hope now I am audible to you people. So let me choose any application. The applications which are given here are the standard applications. In the same way, when I'm talking about this object, when I'm talking about this object, for the application also, for the application also, for the application also, there are two different types of applications. What are they? They comes with a standard application. The same way, other thing is like a custom application. What is this standard application and the custom application? Standard applications are the applications directly given by the Salesforce. When you talk about the custom applications, applications which we were building for our business case, for our business case. Like what we have decided here to, like when you talk about the standard applications in the Salesforce, sales is in a kind of application. Sales is in a kind of application. Service is in a kind of application. Service is in a kind of application. Marketing is in a kind of application. And many more. So when you talk about the custom applications, we have decided to create a college application, right? So we can consider this in a custom applications, right? Not in college. If you want to if you want to create any kind of, so let's assume that we are discussing about this edu based kind of business, right? Then we are taking an example as in a college. Let's consider that we are talking about the some kind of manufacturing unit, pharma kind of manufacturing unit. So we can make a pharma manufacturing unit like an example, like any kind of application we can create, because this thing is there in our hand, what the name we are representing. So we all together of company people, like board members of the company, decided like what is the application should be there for application, what the name of the application should be there. So with that name we will build an application in the Salesforce. Hope you are getting my point, right? Object applications. So the applications, when I'm going for the app launcher, what I'm saying these two things. As of now, I'm saying standard objects. As of now, I'm saying the standard applications. So in that, I have been chosen the sales applications. In that, I can see contact, account, leads, opportunities, all the things. So let me show you that. So let me click on the sales application as I was discussing about this. See on the right top corner, you can see all the applications which are there in this application. So the place which is all the subjects has been set, if you call that as a navigation bar. Navigation bar is in a place where all the applications, all the object applications which are located in the front end place. So this is the place we do call this is a navigation bar, where navigation bar do consist of the objects which are related to these applications. Objects which are related to these applications. You can see accounts is in a standard object. Contact is in a standard object. Leads is in a standard object. Opportunity is in a standard object. Campix is in a standard object. So all these things we do consider as a standard object in the Salesforce. This is an applications. What kind of application is that? Whether it's a standard application or custom application. What kind of application is this sales? Sales is a standard kind of application. And what if I want to shift from the sales application to the service application? I do have a query in the chat. All the apps in the navigation bar are the standard objects. As of now, the objects which are seeing on the navigation bar are the standard objects. If you want, you can also add the custom applications, custom objects here. Let's assume that we are creating a student object. Within a few minutes, we will create our student custom object. So if you are interested to utilize that object which you have created for the sales application, you can also drag that application and drag that object, and you can utilize in the sales application also. So see, this navigation bar is not only meant for the standard objects. This bar is maintained for the objects, not particularly mentioning standard objects. Can add a custom object as well as a standard object in the navigation bar. Hope I have answered your question. Right? So like how we can shift from the sales application to service application, because when I'm talking here, I was telling you there are different kinds of application like sales application, service application, marketing applications. So currently I was in the sales application. Now how can I shift from the sales application to service application? So just going for the app launcher once again. Just going for the app launcher once again. Clicking on this app launcher and just type service on the top also. On the top you can see service. Just clicking on the service. Now this page redirects from the sales application to the service application. Sales application to the service application. Now you can see the name on the left top corner indicates in which application we are. In which application we are currently we are in. So currently with this we can state that we are in the sales application. And even the sales application, you can see there are multiple standard objects are there. If you are interested, you can also add custom objects also. We have a privilege of customizing this. We have a privilege of customizing how the interface should be look. We as a system administrator, as a developers, we have a privilege of customizing these things. We will look in later sessions, right? So now you all got to know what is an application, what is an object, what is a standard object, what is a custom object, right? So with this, now let's see how to create an application in the Salesforce. How to create an object. First we will look into the object, then after we will look into the application. How to create an object? To create an object in the Salesforce, there are three ways. Being an administrator, there are three ways how we can create an object. So the first way, that is in a manual way, one of the most used way with all the people. So what is that? Is custom object. The option we call as a custom object. Second option we will have is schema builder. Second option would have is in a schema builder. Third option would have is in a custom spreadsheet. Custom spreadsheet. So these are the three different ways how we can create an object in Salesforce. So now let's start creating object using the custom object, which is a most user primary. That's which is a default option that we can use for creation of an object, right? So to create an object, where you need to go in the Salesforce. To create an object, where you need to go in the Salesforce. To create an object, you need to go for the setup. How you can go for the setup? On the first day, I have been taught you what is setup. So to go to the setup, go for this gear icon, and there you can see setup icon. Just click on that setup. Automatically, your page redirects to the setup interface. Automatically, your page redirects to the setup interface. From that setup interface, just click on the object manager. Object manager, or else if you are there on the home, on the right top, you can see there is a create option. On the right, you can also see there is a create option. From that, you can also choose custom object. From that, you can also use custom objects. Or else go to the object manager. On the right top corner, you can see custom object. Both are same. The option which is displaying on that create option, The option which is there in this create option, then the option which is displaying on the custom objects, both are same. The visibility of that option is there in the two ways. The visibility of the object is there in the two different interfaces, right? Now just click on this custom object. Now just click on this custom object. After clicking on the custom object, this is the place which starts with the creation of the object. So we decided to create an object called student. So let me start with the student. Student and the plural name of the student. What was the plural name of the student? And even we do have a reason why it is asking for the plural name. So as of now, I'm just making it as a student plural name, giving a plural name. And if it starts with a vowel sound, just check this check bar. Just check this checkbox. And if that is not starting with a vowel sound, just leave it as it is. So object name. So this is the label name and this is the object name. So label name is nothing but an object what we have decided to name that object. When you come for the object name, this object name helps you for the connection of the third party applications. So let's assume that we are using the Salesforce. So we want to integrate the WhatsApp, company WhatsApp with the Salesforce account. So to drag particular data from that WhatsApp to the Salesforce, we need to have a unique fields over there. We can't choose a duplicate value over there. We can't choose an uneven value over there. We want a standard API value. So this object name acts as an API value over there. This object name acts as an API value over there, right? So name, just making it a name, student name, and just even I'm removing this, and even I do throw error, no worries. And the record name. How does the record name should be displayed? The record name should be displayed as a student name, or else you can also go with a student registration number, right? And leaving the things as it is, just clicking on the save. So it has been thrown an error. Like what was the error here? The object field name only contains underscore. So it is telling that there won't be any spaces will be allowed. So we should go with an underscore if there are any spaces. And it must be unique. So no duplicates allowed for this number. And begins with the letter, not include spaces. So I just want to, so it doesn't goes with a numeric value. Even the spaces is not allowed in the beginning. And even the underscore is not allowed in the end. Not contain two consecutive underscores. And it doesn't follow if there are two consecutive underscores also. Got the point? And just have given underscore here. Just hitting on the save now. Leaving these things as it is and just hitting on the save. This is how simple we can create an object in the Salesforce. This is how simple we can create an object in the Salesforce. Just confirm me that everyone comes to know how to create an object in the Salesforce, right? We have created an object using this student. So is our task is done after creating an object. So now can we add this object? Can we add this object to the sales application? Because I was telling you people, navigation bar is a place where you can add a custom object as well as a standard object over there. Now, is it possible to add this object on the sales application navigation bar? So your answer should be no here, because we can't add tab to a navigation bar. What we can add is we can add a tab. We can't add an object to a navigation bar. If you want to add that object to a navigation bar, that object should have a tab for it. That object should have a tab for it. So how to create a tab for that object now? Go for the setup, go to the home, type tab, click on this tab, click on this tab. After clicking on this tab, you can see there are there are 5 different types of tab. After creation object, what the next step should be done? If that object should be displayed on the navigation bar, if that object should be displayed on the navigation bar, that object should have a tab for it. That object should have a tab for it. So there are 5 different types of tabs in Salesforce. There are 5 different types of tabs in the Salesforce. There are 5 different tabs in Salesforce. So let me narrate them. The first thing comes within a custom object, custom tab. The first thing comes within a custom tab. The second thing is like a web tab. Third thing is in a Visual Force tab, VF tab. Next thing is the lighting tab, lighting component, lighting component tab. The last thing is an lighting page tab. Lightning page tab. These three these three things belongs to the developer concepts. These three belongs to the developer concepts. So we are not discussing about these 3 concepts. We only talk about this custom tab. What is custom tab? What is custom tab? The tab which we are creating for a custom object is nothing but a custom tab. The tab which we are creating for a custom object is nothing but a custom tab. Why to create a tab? Because this tab helps you to utilize this student in the navigation bar. This tab helps to utilize this student object to display the student object in the navigation bar. We can utilize the student object, but for a display purpose, for every object which we are creating in the Salesforce custom object, it should have a tab for it. It should have a tab for it. So we do create a student tab also even. So how to create? Just going for this, and on the top option you can see custom object tab. Just click on this new. Once after clicking on the new, you can see there is an object. So just click on this drop down. So it is displaying student here directly. Why it is displaying student here directly? Because as of now, we do have only one student object in that. Only one student. So as of now, we are having only one custom object in the Salesforce. That's the reason in that drop down, it is only showing one object. It is only showing the one object. Let's assume that we have created teacher as well as we have created student, we have created clubs as well as we have created departments. Now you tell me that how many objects do it display here? How many objects do display here? We have created student object, student custom object, we have created teacher custom object, we have created course custom object, we have created departments custom object. So as per our data, it should display all the 4 tabs. You are right exactly. So as of now, we are having only one object, it is only displaying one object. Just clicking on this object, choosing that object to create a tab, and tab style. So defaultly you can choose any tab style here, and this is mandatory here. This is mandatory here. You can't skip this tab style. So let me choose tab style as a bottle for student. Anything is fine. And just going for next. Just going for next. Now let's Let's leave the things as it is default and just going for next, 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 and save. Next, 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 and make it save. Okay, finally we have created a student tab. So now, are we able to add this tab to the sales application? Because our main target, if you want to add an object to a navigation bar, we should have a tab for that object. We should have a tab for that object. So now we are allowed to add this tab to the navigation bar. So let me go to the object manager, or let me go to the sales application now again. Sales applications, click on the sales. Okay, just clicking on this pen icon. Just clicking on this student. Just clicking on this student. See, that means student already added here. Let me show you that. Or else I can drag this student to the top. Just clicking on save. See, student object is there here. So now we can add the data for the student. If I click on this new, it is asking for the student name. It is asking for the student name. So I can give the student name as Rakesh. I can click on the save. It is only asking for one name, right? Because we have given only one name here. See, let me tell you one more thing here. When we are creating a custom object, automatically 4 standard fields gets created. When we are creating a custom object, system itself creates 4 standard fields. Four standard fields in it. In that, system itself creates enough 4 standard fields. So in that, the first standard field which will be taken when we are creating an object, like student name is in one standard field. Because when we are creating, we have given the student name, right? This will be one standard field. And the second standard will be like owner of that record. So the one who is creating this record, and the one who is creating this record created by, and the last modified by. Last modified by. So these are the 4 standard fields that gets created when we are creating a custom object. So this is one of the most asked interview question. This is most important for you people. And this will be a little confusing for you people also. Now let me show you that where are these 4 standard fields. Let me show you that where are these 4 standard fields. So what I want to do is like I just want to create one record. Just clicking on this save. You can see there are 4 standard fields: student name, owner, last modified by, created by. Do we create these 3 fields? No, right? Only one thing we have created is like a name. So automatically when we are creating a custom object, system creates 4 standard fields for every custom object. System creates 4 standard fields for every custom object, right? Hoping that is clear. So let me build some more thing here. It's like a first name, last name, phone number, email ID. So before that, what I want to do is like, I want to create this employee. I want to create this course. Then after we do create these applications. Then after we do create application called college. We do add the student employee course to our application college. Then we do build some metadata values. We do build some metadata values. I hope everything is clear to you people, like how we have created the student, right? And what happens when we are creating it. So along with that, a page layout also gets created. Don't ask me now what is this page layout now. Right, just confirm me over the chart, everything is clear, right? So when we are creating a custom object, system automatically creates 4 standard fields and a page layout So just remember these things. Now let me create employee. Let me create employee using a schema builder. Okay. So let me go to the Salesforce org. Salesforce org. From there, where I need to go? I need to go to the setup. From setup, going to the object manager. From setup, going to the object manager. Then after here, you can see something called schema builder directly. Here you can see schema builder directly. So just click on the schema builder. The purpose of the schema builder is not limited to just creation of the object. There are multiple users with this schema builder. Schema builder helps you to know the relationships there within the two objects. Schema builder. What is a schema builder? Schema builder helps to know the relationship between two objects. Schema builder helps you to know the relationship between two objects. Schema builder helps you to display all the fields which are there for that object. Right? So when to use schema builder and when to use custom object. So let me give you a scenario. What is the situation? What is the right time to use a schema builder of creation for an object, and what is the right time to use a schema custom object as an in the real time? See, let's consider that your manager called you and asked you to create object called student directly. So for this student, only one student object is there. That is fine. You can create using custom builder. So let's assume that, and your manager call you, ask you to create one student object. In that student object, you need to create 100 fields. That is the place, that is the situation where you need to use schema builder for the object creation. See, if you want to create object along with the fields, we do use a schema builder. because the way we choose of creation feels very fast when you compare manual creation of the fields. So using a schema builder, we can create object as well as fields in that. So this is a place, and not only the thing, we can we can fields, create relationships, we can create relationships, right? So let me show you that how to create it. So before that, for this student object also, like the object which we are decided to create, like even for the employee also, we require. So we required some details, right? Even for the employee also, we will take first name, last name, last name, phone number, and email, some regular kind of information. So let me create these fields using schema builder now, right? Going for the object manager. You all guys are following me, right? Just clicking on this elements. See this graph thing we do call as a canvas pane in the Salesforce, for this Salesforce. And here you can see there is an elements and the objects. This objects helps you to display all the objects which are there in the Salesforce org. And this elements helps you to create an object or create a field in the Salesforce. All the list of data types will be displayed in this field section. All the list of data types will be displayed in this element section. So to create an object, what you need to do, you need not to go same as custom object. Just you can see object here, which is there in the green color. Just hold this object and just move a little. Once you move this object, you can see canvas pane has come into green color. Canvas pane has come into green color. Once the canvas pane has come to the green color, leave this object on the canvas pane. Once I have been leave that can object on the canvas pane, automatically a detail prompt has come from me. A edit prompt has come from me. So where it asks you to provide the details of an object which you are creating. So our target object is creating a teacher, right? So let's go with teacher, and the plural name teachers, and whether it starts with a consonant vowel, just view the details, and the object name, and if you want to give any kind of description for this object which you are creating here, just go with the description, and the rest of the things just leave as it is, just hitting on the save. And you can see even for this name also it is throwing error because that doesn't allow the spaces between two words. Just going with these things, just clicking on the save. Yeah, I agree with you. I have deleted that space. See, you can see there is a teacher object here. See, without creation of the fields, it has created 4 fields which we are discussing here. For every custom object which we are creating, system creates 4 mandatory fields for this. Like in the teacher case, there is a name. Generally, we do call this as a name, not a student name, because name, owner, and these things. These are the 4 mandatory fields that gets created automatically when a custom object is created. Right? You can see created by, last modified by. Let me make it a little bigger for you, guys. So created by, last modified by owner and the teacher name. Then last one is for the teacher name, right? So let me show you the previous object which we have created. Let me click on this custom object. So you can see teacher even. We can display both the teacher as well as, let me drag this teacher there. Let me make these two objects both side by side. Yeah. So you can see when I'm clicking on this student object, this is getting the into light blue color. When I'm clicking on this, this is getting into light blue color. So what does it mean is like the one which we have selected change its color. So now let's start creating a field in the object. So you can see I have considered all this as a field data types, right? Can someone mention, can someone mention me that what is the best data type that we can use? That is the best data type that we can use. Creation of the first name. So what kind of data type we can use here? What kind of data type we can use here for the both first name, first name? Character, someone is like character. Exactly, we can use character. But in the Salesforce, we don't have a data type called character. Instead of character, we do have a data type called text. So do you agree with the one who is dealing with a character? It also similar to the text, right? So character, what is character? So I think you agree with me, right? So we don't have any data type called character in the Salesforce. Instead of that, we do have a data type called text, where text is a kind of functionality which allows entering a value of alphabet as well as a numeric. Alphabet as a numeric. If I'm choosing text as a data type, it allows entering alphabet has an or a numeric value over there. So let me take Rakesh here. So what this is a character. When I'm taking the text as a data type, it allows to enter the data in this way also 1 2 3 like this. So we do have text as a data type in the Salesforce for choosing this first name and the last name. So this is the best data type which we can choose on the list of all the data types which are mentioned here. You can see, let me read them properly. Auto number, formula, roll-up summary, lookup, hierarchy, master detail, checkbox, currency, date and time, email ID, number, percent, phone, pick list, multi-select, text, text encrypted text area, long text area, rich text area, and the URL. See, in these data types, I can see something like character. Instead of character, the best thing I can pick here is the text what I was feeling. The best thing what I can pick here is the text I was feeling. So let's go with the text itself. Just drag this text and leave on the object where you want to create the text data type. Like if you are interested to create, if you are interested to create a first name for the student, leave this on the student. Or if you want to create a first name for the teacher, leave this on the teacher. So our target is to creating on the teacher, right? Let me click on this, leave on this teacher. Once I leave on this teacher, it will ask about the field values. So this is first name, label name is like first name. First name, and field name again with underscore, again first name. Description, if you want to give any kind of description you can give. And the help text, what is this help text? Help text is nothing but if, see, let's assume that it is entering like first name directly. If someone is not knowing what is first name and what is last name, so with this help text you can mentor that is your surname. That is your surname. Like if you add a help text, when you go for this field, automatically a display text will be displayed mentioning that this is a surname or this is a nickname, something like that. Okay. And what will the length of the first name you would like to enter? So let me give 18 characters. If you are entering 19 characters, it doesn't take, it only stores the 18 character values over there. Okay. Do you want to give any kind of default value? If you want to give any kind of default value, I can give a default value like this, first name. So automatically when I was not entering any kind of value, this value takes automatically. First name. So if you're not interested, you can also skip this. And the required unique, just making this as it is and just making it save. Right? So finally we are created even a field. Finally we have created even a field in the teacher. So let me check that. Let me check that whether the field is there on the teacher or not. So now I do have a question for you people. I do have any query in the chat. If the length of the first name is more than 18 characters, then see, I don't feel like in a worst case, you might be having a length of the character will be more than 18. So in that case, nothing doing. The first 18 characters it do get stored, and then after it doesn't get stored of that leftover characters. So in that case, you need to increase your character number. You can also give 20. You can also give 25. You can also give 20. So there is some limitations for that text. There is some limitation for that text to what value you can give. So even 50 also it do allows a text value gets allows even 50 characters also. If you are mentioning that as an 18, it only allows 18. If you are mentioning that as an 50, it will allows 50 also. Is that clear? Right? And one more thing I would like to tell you here is like we have created only object for this teacher. Do we created a tab for this? Do we create a tab for this? So to utilize this, to display this teacher object in the navigation bar, for sure we need to create a tab, right? For sure we need to create a tab. Now, how to create a tab for this object? So let me go to this setup again. Let me go to this setup again. After going to the setup, how to bring both objects to the same place? What does loop up means, which is writing inside object? I'm not getting a query like Nair, what does loop up means, which is written inside the object? And I can't see anything anywhere like loop in the Salesforce because I can't see on my screen even. So just elaborate your query so that I can help you. And I do have another query in the chat like how to bring both objects to the same place. So that's what I'm telling you now. So you are asking me to zoom the object 1 second. Like, okay, let me zoom. Yeah. I can see something here like a loop somewhere else. No. So okay, let me put that query. Lookup user. Lookup user. See, that is a different story. Now we are talking about the story of an object creation, the field creation, right? How can I skip all this concept and directly go for the lookup? You need to wait till I comes to that area. You need to wait till I comes to that area. For sure, we do discuss all these three also. Yes, you can create. There is a query in the chat like, can we create? Can we rename the object name after creation from the schema builder? Yes, you can rename the object. You can rename the object name after even the creation of this from the schema builder. Even though you are creating from the custom object. Even though you are creating them from the schema builder, custom spreadsheet. So that is possible. Renaming of an object is possible. Renaming of an object is possible. So now our target is creating a tab, right? Just click on this tab, reset, and then clicking on this tab, clicking on this tab. And for the one who is mentioning, who is asking me that how we can rename this, you can see directly rename tabs and labels. This is the option. This is the option how you can rename your object names. How you can rename your object names. Labels. Majorly we do call them as labels. We can label. You can change the label name. Correct? And just going for this object. And if I click on this new again, I can see this time only teacher is tab. A definition of the tab. Tab is nothing but a plural form of an object. Sorry, object is tab is nothing but a plural form of an object. The one who is asking me like what is the definition of the tab? So let me mention here. So tab, what is tab? Tab is nothing but a plural form of an object. So no space, right? Tab is nothing but a plural form of an object, because for every object when we are creating, you can see here I'm choosing teacher as an object. Why it is not displaying student? Do anyone have an answer here? Do anyone have an answer here? Because for that object we already created a tab. The objects for which we have created tabs, it doesn't get displayed. The objects which we are creating a tabs, it doesn't get displayed. See, the objects for which we are not creating a tabs only gets displayed in the custom tab. So teacher, and choosing some custom style. So just going for next. Even I'm not doing anything, just making default things as it is and just going for save. So finally we have created a tab even. Yeah, you are right. The one who mentioned in the chat, like tab for student is already there. That's the reason it is not displaying here. So if I go for new and if I click on this new tab, none, so none will be displayed because we don't have any other custom objects to be created as in a tab. We don't have any custom tabs to be created as a objects to be created as a tab. Got it? So let me go to sales application now. Let me check whether this application is there in that or not. Let me check whether this object is there in that. If not, I do create this or there. See, student is there and even teacher will be also there because defaultly it will get added here. Let's see, teacher. Let me drag this teacher and let me put here. Got it? And for the query, the one who mentioned is like, how do we drag this side by side? So this is the procedure how you're going to add the tab objects on the navigation bar. So how we can utilize this on the sales applications, right? This is not developer, this is purely admin, right? So now let's see how to create an application in the Salesforce. See, I'm just leaving this clubs for some time and just coming for the session called how to create an application in the Salesforce. How to create a application the Salesforce. How to application in the Salesforce. And what is the place? Yeah, in admin, we don't write any piece of code. The only thing we do is point and click tools. The only thing we do here is like for every such a kind of thing which you are doing on admin, we do have some kind of settings. We do change the settings, we do customize the settings. That's it. So no piece of code will be used in the admin concepts. Got it? Custom objects of spreadsheet. Currently, this custom object by spreadsheet is not getting open because I was trying this. So there might be some updates is going on this custom object. So currently I can't show you that custom object. So let me tell you that how you can create it using the custom objects. So for that, you need to go for the name. For that, you need to go for the object manager. After going to the object manager, if you click on this drop down, you can see custom object from spreadsheet. Custom object from spreadsheet. I'm just trying to click on this. It throws an error. If that is not throwing error, I do create an object. Yeah, that is not throwing error. So I do create a custom object directly now. So that is not throwing error. And before going for the creation of the custom object, before going for utilize this custom object, sorry, custom, what is that? Custom spreadsheet. We need to have a CSV file with us, CSV file with that. So when to use this, like before we are talking about when to use custom object, when to use schema builder, when to use. So now see our scenario is like for the custom object we are using. So for one object, if there is in one object, we have decided to create using custom object. If there is one object, there are 100 fields in it. So we decided to create the object using a schema builder. Now let's assume that there is one object, 100 fields in it. Parallelly, we do have 50 records in that. So if you want to create manually, what we need to, you need to create this object. Then after you need to create this 100 fields. Then after you need to create this 50 records. So instead of that, all this data at once, we can upload into the Salesforce. Put it to the sales student, like, so we will have an object in our place. We do have a fields like 100 fields, multiple fields, and even you do have a records in that. So that is the case. That is the case where we do use custom spreadsheet. Custom. So here I do have an Excel sheet, and this Excel should be of in the format of CSV. CSV format. So see, let's assume that the file name is known as clubs. So the object which I'm creating is in a clubs, and the first name is in a club name, and the club fee, and the type of the club, and the members. So these are the fields. We do call these things as fields, and these are the records. Like record 2, cricket is one record, cycling is one record, and the chess is one record. So let's consider this as a basic example. So there is a chart like basically on situation, we need to choose how to create an object out of these three ways. Yes, exactly, you are right. So you are the responsible person. You need to decide that what is the best way that you can create an object in the Salesforce, because showing you the three different kinds of ways, right? So in that, when to choose custom object, when to use spreadsheet, when to use schema builder. So when your task is of creation multiple fields for a same object and multiple records are there in that case you use spreadsheet. So if your task is creating only fields, like there are multiple fields in that. So in that case, if you go for the custom object, that would be a burden task for you to create these fields. For each and every field which you are creating, it takes 1 minute of time. So let's assume that if you want to create 100 fields in that, so it takes 100 minutes of time. We don't want to waste that much of time for just creation of the fields. So we do have an alternate way to creation of these fields and object at a single go. The option is called, the option we do call is like schema builder. So now let me show you that how to create fields, object as well as records in a single go. So I'm just saving this file as a CSV. So it's saving this file as a CSV file, just browsing it on a desktop. So you can see CSV file. The file which you are uploading into the Salesforce should be in the format of the CSV file, and just making it save. Yes, replace the file. So that is fine. Just closing this and just going for the Salesforce org. Here you can see there are two options. Let me come again here. Let me come again. See in this option, from this option, I'm just going for the custom object from the spreadsheet. Login with Salesforce. And these are the login credentials. These are login credentials. Just click on this login. Provide your login credentials like username and the password. Then after click on the login. Then after go for the allow. Just click on this allow. Once you click on this allow, it will ask you for the various ways how you're gonna how you're gonna upload the CSV file, whether you're gonna from the CSV file, whether you're going from the Google Sheet, whether you're directly bringing that file from the office. So we are going with the CSV file. Just upload this CSV file. The file is on the desktop. The file names is with the clubs. Just clicking on this open. So if the status is of 100%, like yeah, done. See, automatically even it is taking the field type also. So for club name, it is taking as a text, and for the club fees, it is taking as an integer, and for the type, it is taking as a text, and for the members, it is taking as an integer according to the data which we are providing there. See, it is taking according to that. Manually, it automatically it is choosing that. Automatically, it is choosing the field related type. And then next step is to click on, if you are considering that this data type is in the proper data type, which it gets matched automatically, then you can change the data type. You can change the data type. Like in this case, if you want to use pick list value also, you can use pick list value. Even in this case also, if you want to use the pick list value, you can also use like integer. Other than integer, let me check whether there is any currency, because this membership like club fees, right? So I can use this club fees as a currency value, because club fees is nothing but the currency rate. So that won't be the fine if you are going with the integer value. So let me choose as a currency here. So I have changed the currency values here and just going for the next. Just going with the next. So this will the object name. If you want to change also, you can change, and the plural name is the clubs, and the API name is also clubs. We can utilize custom object, the object which is there in the Salesforce, or we can utilize that same object for all the applications which are there in the Salesforce. And the last step, just click on this finish. So it is creating using custom spreadsheet. File is getting imported. So finally done. So even we do have a success message also here, right? Import another object. If you have another object with you can also import that, and you can also see detected fields and the created fields and the detected rows and the imported rows, right? So everything is good. Now let me go to the Salesforce, or let me check for the object. So let me refresh this page before doing, because we are dealing with in a cloud, right? So whenever you are doing any kind of customization on the Salesforce, for sure, when you're working on the second tab and the second screen, refresh is most important here. So just clicking on the clubs. See, automatic clubs is there here. Even for this clubs, you can see multiple fields also there, like a type, and then like a owner. Owner is then a standard field which will gets created automatically when a custom object is created. And the members, we have created this members, and the last modifier, even this is in a standard field created by a standard field. And the club fees, you can see this is in a currency type, and the club name, it has taken the club name automatically, and this name gets automatically created when we are creating an object. We can also change this name to registration number, club registration, like auto number, like C dash, like C dash, something in flower braces, some zeros like this. So the starting number for this, like the starting number is for this, like it should start with something like 001. Like how many zeros? 3 zeros. Let me remove 2 zeros. Yeah. So just clicking on this save. I think I need to change the name of that. Let me do that once again. So I need to change this as field name as club registration number. club reg member, club registration number, just clicking on this. You can see club registration number, club name, all these things has come. Now, my question to you people is like, does it create automatically a tab when we are creating an object? So your answer will be no, right, in this case. So even we are updating the data from the custom spreadsheet, it doesn't create a tab for this also. So manually, we need to go to the tabs and we need to create a tab for it. So clicking on the tab, just clicking on this tab. Then after going here, see manually we need not to create, like a tab has been created automatically. A tab has been created manually. Like we need not to come here manually and we need not to create a tab for it. So when we are updating the data from the custom spreadsheet, automatically a tab also gets created. Automatically a tab also gets created. Let me check this tab whether it is there on the sales application or not. Sales application or not. We are done with this spreadsheet. I'm just closing this tab. So let me come here and let me choose sales application. Currently we are in the service application. Let me choose sales application, sales. Student, you can see there, student, teacher, and let me drag the student also. See, I can't see here clubs. So let me click on this. Let me choose here clubs, add more items, all items. CLU, see clubs, click on this clubs and just add navigation item. Just click on this clubs and bring to the top. Bring to the top. Bring to the top. Yeah, just click on this here. So you can see now will there is a query in the chat. I have a question like will activities field history tracking report will be created when we are using the custom spreadsheet? See, now I do have a question for you. When we are using custom spreadsheet, we are using a custom spreadsheet for the first time when you are creating the object, for the first time when you're creating the fields in it, for the first time when you're creating a records over there. See, field history tracking is something like for the existing fields, if you are doing any kind of changes for that fields, it shows you the track of that history. Now, I think now you would have an answer with you. So your question is, will it be automatically enabled? So let me show you that. Like clubs, going for the object manager, clubs. So you are asking is like whether it's automatically gets enabled or whether we need to manually enable it. So let me come here. Set field history tracking. So when it is telling that set field history tracking, automatically it got enabled. Got the point? So all the default features gets enabled automatically. Like if I go for the student object, no. So let me confirm this once again. Clubs, club. Yeah. So you can see track field history is not enabled. So you need to click on this. Then after it gets enabled. So defaultly it is not getting enabled. Defaultly it is not getting enabled. For the point, the one who is asking about this custom field history. Yeah. So I'm just as of now, I'm just enabling it. I'm just clicking on the save. No, the file which you are saving doesn't have an extension of CSS, C++ or C, something like that. The file which you have been uploaded will be the extension of .csv. .csv is an extension. That's the reason I'm calling it as a CSV file all the time. Even we can also go with the Excel file, .xml, something like that. So we're done with even custom spreadsheet also. We have uploaded clubs field, clubs object, right? So using these three ways, we have created the object. Okay. So now what I want to do is I just want to create an application. How to create an application in the Salesforce. So where we need to go to the Salesforce to create an application. So go to the setup, go to the setup, that setup, go to the object, like quick find, go to the quick find. In the quick find type, in the quick find type app manager. See, when I'm talking about the object manager, all the objects do get stored in the object manager. In the same way, when I'm talking about the app manager, all the applications which are there in the Salesforce, whether it's in a standard application, whether it's in a custom applications, all the applications do get shared in the all the applications gets enabled in the, like all the applications will be stored in the app manager. Got it? So I can see even you can see sales application lightning. As I mentioned in the last session, like in the Salesforce, there are two types of versions. One is classic version, one is lightning version. Even when you are in the lightning version, you can see both the versions applications. Like you can see there are two sales applications. One application belongs to the classic version and one application belongs to the lightning version. So that is supported for the both applications, right? So how to create an application now? How to create an application now? Just click on this new lightning app here. On the top right corner, you can see there is a new lightning app. Click on this new lightning app. So what is the application which we were decided to create? What is the application name which we were decided to create? Yep. So the application which we were decided to create is a college application. So what is the application name, app name? Nothing but college. And the developer name, let me give, instead of, we can also give developer name as your name, or else you can also give same as in a college. Let me give my name. Okay. If you want to give any sort of description about that college, like where this application will be used, what is the exactly purpose of using this application, what is the exact purpose of creation of this application in this Salesforce. So if you want to elaborate about this application, you can write your lines. You can write your lines. Okay. So let me write mine things. This application is used to store the college data and perform the this application is used to store the college data and perform the activities in an automated manner. So like we need not to come here, we need not to do any kind of manual settings over there. So automatically we do build a set of settings over there. Automatically we do build a automation task for that application. So automatically when certain criteria has met, automatically the task will be gets assigned to the related settings. Okay. If you want to upload a branding image for this also, you can upload. So let me choose some branding image here. Like let me choose. Okay. Let me go with another desktop somewhere. Desktop image will be there. Let me choose some application, some image from here, which will be very similar to that. Yeah, this one is fine. So that is getting uploaded. So like I'm just going for the default color, like which makes you the sense of identifying this color and just making this done. So once uploading this image and the primary color text, like what you want, not for the text, for the background, what you want. So that is under pink. And if you check this box, automatically what happens, your application will be utilizing these two things. The image which you have been uploaded, the color which you have given. Until unless you're not checking this box, these two things doesn't get highlighted. So even though you are uploading the image, even though you are changing the color of the background, it doesn't get reflected until unless you're not checking this box. So once you check this box, automatically the reflection gets changed and it do display like this. This application is used to store the college data and so on. What something is there over there, right? This is the first step. To create an application, there are 5 steps. This is the first step. And just clicking on the next. Just clicking on the next. And in the beginning, I was telling you people, there are two types of applications. One is standard application, another meaning like custom applications. Now I'm changing my words. There are 3 different types of application in the Salesforce. What are they? Standard applications, custom applications, and other things comes within a console application. Other things comes within a console applications. So what is the console applications? I will be talking about this part later case. So now just go with the standard navigation. So the navigation style is of the 2 types. What is standard navigation? Other is in a console navigation. Right? As of now, just go with the standard navigation. And what kind of experience you want, whether you want a full kind of experience or whether you want a service related kind of experience. So now we want a full kind of experience. Just go with this full setup. And what are the supported factors for your applications which you are creating? As I mentioned that Salesforce is also supported in the mobile versions. The application which you are creating should be supported for the both mobile as well as the desktop, or whether the application which you are creating should be supported only for the desktop, or whether it should be particularly supported for the mobile version. So this is the place where you can decide that. So in my case, I just want to make available this application which I'm creating as a name of college should be available for the both sides, whether it's for the desktop, whether it's for the phone mobile version. Just going with the desktop and mobile. And I'm just leaving these things default. I'm just leaving this default and just going for next, right? And even in this step also, I'm not doing any kind of changes, just going for next. See, in the second step and the third step, I'm just leaving all these things default. And the fourth step, what I'm doing is available items. Can someone tell me that what is the item mean here? What is the items? Even when you go for the object manager also, you can see here items, right? See apps and the items. So what is this item? This item and that item, so both are same. What is item exactly in the Salesforce? Item in the Salesforce is nothing but a tab in the Salesforce, object in the Salesforce. The object which you have created, the tab which you have created for that object is nothing but an item in the Salesforce. Now, in this step, what it is asking? So it is asking, these are the available items there in the Salesforce. In these available items, what are the items you're gonna use in your application which you are creating? These are the available items in the Salesforce. In these available items, what are the items which you are using in your applications? Whether you can use standard application, sorry, whether you can use standard object, whether you can use custom objects, both are possible. You can see what is this accounts, whether it's a standard object or custom object. What is this accounts here? Standard object. So what is a custom object which we are created? What is the custom object which we are created? Exactly. Clubs, teachers, student are the custom objects, right? Let me check whether these things are there here or not. Yeah, student is there. Let me add the student. Let me add teacher. Teacher is there. Clubs. Clubs is there. Right? And even I can also add standard object also. For if this standard object is used, we can also add standard object also. And the same way, I want to add one more field, one more tab here. Like home, because home tab, exactly the one who mentioned like home tab. Because for an every applications, home is the basic structure we do add, right? So even I'm adding the home and just going for the next. And I just want to arrange this home tab with the first, and then after followed by accounts, then after followed by students, then after followed by teacher, then after clubs. Right? Looks fine, right? Just going for the next step. Fifth step. So as of now, just leave about these profiles. What I'm talking about here is just leave this. See, there is a question like there are two homes tabs. So can you please know the difference of them? See, what I'm mentioning is like, I just let me give you an example of you, an example for you particularly. So you are having a mobile with you. Do you know all the options? Do you utilize all the options which are there in the mobile? This question is for everyone. Do you utilize all the options which are there in your mobile? No, right? In the same way, in the Salesforce also, there it built within a multiple kinds of settings in that, multiple functionalities in that. We don't bother about all the functionalities. We only bother about the functionalities which are affecting our business, which are the functionalities which we are using for our business case. See, our target is of adding the object. You might be asked a question like how to identify which object, which home tab I need to use. So you can see there is a home tab. Let me add this both home tabs. And even though I'm adding this both home tabs, only one thing will be get displayed at a field. So I'm adding both home tabs because even I'm not properly covered this home tab before. All the times I will be using this home tab itself. So now for your sake, I'll be adding this home tab and I will be differentiating this, what is this home tab and what is this home tab. Is that clear to you? Am I satisfying you? Right? So if you want to know which tab to be acted for the home tab, you can see there is a home symbol. So this is the best identification because that's a standard object. It's never gets changed. So defaultly it will be having a home tab within a home icon for that. So that is the thing. And just going for the next. And in this profiles, I'm not talking anything now because we do have a concept called profiles. Directly we do talk about these profiles in that case. And now just what I'm doing is I'm just adding some custom profile. I'm just adding some 3 profiles here particularly. Like one is comes with a standard users, like a system administrator, standard user, and the standard platform users. So these are the 3 profiles I'm just adding for this case. I'm just going for the save and finish. So finally we are done. We have created our applications. Even not only creating applications, we have added the tabs which are required for our business. So now question is like where to find, how to go for this application. Can anyone tell me that how I can go for that application? Because we are already done with the object, we are already done with the tab, we are done with the application also. So how I can go for that application? The only the thing you can see is like how you can confirm. The first thing you can confirm is like you can see that application in the app manager, college, right? You can see there's a college, the developer name, and this is the description which are given for that. The creation is on the 26th, right? 7:35 Approximately this time is just because of the time zone which we are given might be. So you can see the time is proper, right? And that is of the lightning experience, the application which you are created for the lightning experience, right? And even you can also see for a custom object, you do have an option called delete as well as edit. When you go for the standard objects like sales or service, something like that, you don't have any delete option for that. So what does it mean? We don't have any privilege of deleting standard applications in the Salesforce. Only thing is like we can delete the custom applications. We don't have any privilege of deleting the standard application in the Salesforce. In the same way, when I'm talking about the object also, there is no chance of deleting in a standard application, standard object in the Salesforce. Only the thing we can do is we can delete the custom objects, right? For a standard object, we can customize the thing, but we can't delete the thing. We can configure the things whatever we want, but we can't delete the thing. Even with same followed for the application also, right? So let me go to the application now. So how to go to the applications? Here you can see app launcher. From the app launcher, click on this application, like a sales application, like our application is called college application. Just clicking on this college application. Finally done. You can see there is a pink light coming. It's a border for this navigation bar. So that is the color we have changed. And you can see there is an icon coming on the top of this application. So this is the logo we are using for this application. And you can see I have added two homes. The one who is asking me what are these two homes. Even I was trying to add two homes. I'm just displaying with only one home. And this is the home which is there as an icon as home symbol. Clear? Yep. So just I want to take a quick break, like 6 to 7 minutes, and I will be back in a 10 minutes. I will be back in a 6 minutes. Like let me put this. Just putting a timer for 6 minutes. I will back in a 6 minutes. It's a quick break. Right, I'm back. Just confirm me that my screen and my voice is clearly audible to you people and visible. My screen is visible to you people. Okay, okay. Thanks for your responses. See, and someone is asking like, what is this graph? The name itself, it is telling it's in a quarterly performance. Like, see, you are in the beginner stage. You comes to know all these things when you're getting in within a Salesforce admin sessions, right? Don't get bother and don't get curious with the things which are displaying on the screen, right? So this is an account and there's a student, there's a teacher, there's a clubs, right? These are all the things which are there in the Salesforce as of now. So now let's me discuss about the relationships in the Salesforce. So finally we have created an object, finally we have created a application in the Salesforce also. Like now the story comes with a relationship in the Salesforce. What are the relationships in the Salesforce? And before talking about the relationship in the Salesforce, I just want to mention something like relationships in the Salesforce, right? So when I'm talking about the relationship in the Salesforce, in the mathematics, we do have a kind of relationship called one-to-one relationship. Okay, it's taking right. One-to-one kind of relationship, and the one-to-many, and the many-to-one. Have you heard about this kind of relationship? These things we will be discussing in the primary classes, like one-to-one relationship, one-to-many relationship, many-to-one relationship, and other is like many-to-many relationship. What is the example of the one-to-one relationship? What is the example of the one-to-one relationship? Can someone mention like what is the example? What would the example for one-to-one relationship? See, like they are mentioning like an f of x equal to x. I'm not going directly about that. So there is an example called wife and husband. Exactly, we can go with this wife and husband because as per India terms, everyone do have one wife for one husband, right? So one-to-one relationship. And the other thing is like one more example I got one person, one other card because every person, anyone in the session having two other cards? No, right? One person, one other card. So what is this? This is the kind of relationship called one-to-one relationship, right? In the same way, we can go with multiple things, right? So can someone mention like one-to-many relationship? One object is having multiple things. One object is having multiple things. So let me tell you some basic examples. Classroom. One classroom, multiple benches in that. Classroom, benches in that. And one more example I can go. Father, like parent and child. Right? You can go with like this. One parent and a multiple childs. A parent can have two or three childs, right? And even there is a funny answer like one person, multiple Facebook accounts. Like even in the some other case, college beds departments, because in one college you will be having multiple departments like EEE, EC, CSC, Civil, IT, so multiple things. Okay, and even this comes within a many to one. So this both one to one and many to one comes within a same like that's an intervals of that. That is an intervals of that. Like when you talk about the one to one and one to many, when it comes to the terms of the Salesforce, both are same. One person, multiple credit cards. Good example. One person, multiple credit cards. So even we can take multiple. Even this is also one of the best example. One person, multiple credit cards. Good one. Good one. So both are same. I'm just deleting this now. So what does it mean? Is like even that is a one to one, many to one, both are same. So as per our data. Okay. So coming to the many to many relationship. What is many to many relationship? So let me put example like this for taking this one person many credit cards. See, this person will be as an junction object. This thing we do call as an junction object in the Salesforce. Junction object. Junction object in the Salesforce. Well, this many to many. So what is the junction object here? Person is a junction object. Person is a junction object where banks as a many object and the credit cards act as a many object. So how? Let me tell you. See, this person might have a different cards like ICICI Bank. This person have an ICICI Bank credit card. This person might be having a different kinds of bank account. With the, or else, let me go with an example which I have taken for our example. Like see, in our objects we do have a clubs, right? So let me go with some club. There is a running club, okay, and there is a cycling club. There is a cricket club. There is a chess club. Some indoor game, and there is a swimming club. So these are the, let's consider these are the multiple clubs we do have in a. These are the multiple clubs we are having. Yeah. So in the same way, in the other hand, there are students. On the other hand, there are teachers. Okay. See, a teacher can take all this. A teacher can take all this membership. Like a teacher can take membership in the running club. A teacher can take a membership in the cycling club. A teacher can take a membership in the cricket club. A teacher can take a membership in the. So that is possible. That taking of membership all this club is possible. So let's assume that this teacher is having 4 clubs, 4 memberships, and this student is also having 4 memberships. So and the next student is having some cricket club as well as chess club. Chess. Okay. So here this fellow is having chess as well as parallel with swimming. And here for this student it is having running club as well as chess. The same, he is also having a membership in the cycling this way. And for this fellow having only one membership like cycling. Like when I'm typing here, this is teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3. Just assume in that way. This is teacher 1, teacher 1, teacher 1. Some teacher name like anyone, teacher 1. And this is teacher 2. And this is teacher 3. right? So on, in this way, so on. So in this way, when I'm talking here, what does it mean? This is student one, student one, this is student two, this is student three, in the same way. So these are the students. See, one student is able to choose multiple clubs here. Even one teacher is also use multiple clubs. So ultimately what happening? One student can choose many, and even one teacher can choose many. So this is nothing but a many to many kind of relationship. So this student and this teacher act as a many to many kind of relationship where these clubs act as a junction object. This student acts as a junction object in sales. Right? Is it clear to you people? So here we comes in the Salesforce with three different types of relationships. There are one to many and many to many. So we need not to create a relationship for the one to one. See, let's assume that why to create a relationship for that. So the reasons of creating a relationship, let me give an example here with a student and this kind of thing. So this is student data. So like first name, and this is something like a student registration number, some ID, student ID, the last name, the phone number, and the email ID like this. Okay, so let me create a teacher data. So for the teacher, I want to same first name, all the same details. Even for teacher is also having ID. Right? So let's assume that this teacher, for this student, the teacher who is having here is a respective one. Like for this teacher, for this student, this teacher, the teacher with the name, let me give some name ID. ID is like 123. This teacher is this for this student, this teacher is taking care of. So what we want is we want to add this teacher details also here. So what we do, if you want to relate these two teachings, again we need to add all these teachers details here. So how many sales it is consuming, how much data it is consuming here. So instead of doing that, what we do is we do create a relationship between these two. We do create a relationship between these two. With that relationship, ultimately what happens is with that relationship, ultimately what happens is, so we do create a relationship between these two. So that might be any kind of relationship. That's on one. See, for one-to-one relationship, we don't discuss because one teacher is having one student. So in order to create a relationship, obviously we do need to enter all the data. So we do create a relationship when there is a one-to-many relationship or where there is a many-to-many relationships. Okay, so as per our data, we are not discussing about the one-to-one relationship also. So this is just a good to know information here. This is just a good to know information, right? So one to many. So what are the different types of relationships? That is like lookup and master detail relationship, MDR. So these are the two different types of relationships there in the Salesforce, and this is one kind of relationship. So both lookup relationship and the MDR relationship comes within a one-to-one or one-to-many relationship. So in the same way, this is one student data. Let's assume there is one more student. Assume that there is one more student. This is student dash 3234 to C to B, and here this ID file is like 3245. So this is a student. So instead of creating this teacher data again here, we are calling this id, we are calling this id. What we are doing, we are just calling this id on the reference to the student. So ultimately when I click on the student, we can find all the teacher data. So if there is any kind of relationship, we need not to create the data again and again. So what happens is the redundancy gets reduced. So no data redundancy. So no repetition of the data is taken again and again. So no repetition of the data. So for no, and even the duplicate also not there, right? So we are not creating this name, first name, last name again here and here, right? So with one thing we can call for whatever you want. If we had one more student here like ID dash 4567, something like first name, last name like this. So we can call this student, we can assign this teacher for that student also without entering all details of the student over there, just entering in a unique field of the teacher, just entering a unique field of the teacher. So now you got why to create a relationship in the Salesforce, to reduce the data redundancy, to reduce the duplicates, to quick access the data who are related to the one object to an object. Is it clear? Is it confusing to you people? Just mention me that. First point is to reduce the data redundancy. What is data redundancy? Repetition of the data won't be there because we are not repeating the data. All these teacher details in every record, right? So we are only calling one ID. With that ID, we will follow for the teacher. So duplicates, like we are not creating the data here. We are not creating the data even here. So even duplicates won't be there. And for one teacher object, how many students are there? For one teacher object, how many students are there? We can find that. So like I do have a query, like can you please explain in a simple way? I think the way which I'm explaining is the most simplest way, because I made it very complex. Instead of going for the complex thing, I made it in a simple words. That might be the reason you people are not getting understand. Okay. See, what I want is like, this is the student data, this is the teacher data. So instead of telling here, just be quiet for some time. Once after I creating a data, a relationship between two objects, once after I'm creating a relationship between two objects, you comes to know exactly, you comes to know exactly how the relationship and what is the need of the relationship there in the objects. Yeah, in the Salesforce, exactly the one who is mentioning like these relationships in the Salesforce, namely known as lookup relationship, master detail relationship, and the other comes within the junction object. Other comes within a junction object. So what is lookup relationship? What is master detail relationship? As I was mentioning that these two relationships do comes into the one to one or one to many. Both are same. One to one or one to many or many to one. So both are same. Both things comes with the so both comes with a one to many kind of relationship. These two things comes under one to many kind of relationship, and this comes under the many to many relationship. This comes with a many to many relationships. Okay. So when you talk about that lookup relationship and master data relationship, both comes within a one to many, then what is the difference between them? Exactly, I will be showing you the example how to create a relationship between the Salesforce. So what is the difference between lookup relationship and master data relationship? So without wasting any time, I do create these relationships and I will let you know that clear explanation about this, and I'll show you the hands-on experience of these relationships. And before creating relationships, we comes to know what is the relationship, right? Exactly. So let me tell that in the student and teacher case, which one will be the one object and which one will be of many object, because we are talking here one to many, right? So whether teacher is in a one object or many object, whether the student is in a one object or many object. And when you're choosing teacher as a one object, tell me the reason. And when you're choosing student as a one object, just tell me the reason. because I can see most of the reasons, most of the answers are like teacher is one object, teacher is one object. So let me tell the reason for that. See, in your class, there will be only one teacher. So at a point of time, just imagine a physics class is going on, or some coding class is going on, or some computer class is going on. See, for that computer class, only one teacher will be there and multiple students will be there, right? MDR is not many to many. MDR is also a one to many relationship or many to one, any kind of relationship. So let me go with the example. In a class, at a point of time, only one teacher will be there. At a point of like one period of time, only one teacher will be there. Multiple students will be there. So teacher here comes with the student. So student teacher will be like one. Only one teacher will be there. Well, come for the students, there will be 100 students or more than that. Okay. The same way, let me ask you some other things which are related to the one-to-one. So here with this, I can decide that one object and the many object. The same way, I just want to mention some more example is like bank and customer. So which one will be the one object and which will be the many object? Can you please mention me that bank and the customer? So bank and the customer. See, this customer might be having multiple bank accounts, but at a point, for let's assume for one bank, since this bank act as a one object, this customer act as a many object, right? Like there is a reverse question in the chart, like customer is acting as one, bank is acting as many. So even we can also take in that case according to your business. So let's assume that you want to take one object as a customer, like you are dealing, the one side of the dealing is different. Like you're considering the customer as a one object and multiple, this customer is having multiple bank account. In that case, you can consider customer as a one object and banks as a many object. But if you go in a regular way, one bank will be having multiple customers, right? So if you take customer, so in this scenario, let's consider that bank is one object, and the customer is a mini object. So you can also make in this way, like let's assume that there is a credit card, debit card for this bank. Credit card, debit card. So in this case, this bank act as a junction object and this customer act as a mini object. This credit card, mini debit card act as a mini object. Because multiple customers will be there, multiple cards will be there, and bank will be acting intermediate between this many to many object. This is an junction object. You can also consider in that way who is mentioning like bank is many, customer is also one. So even that is also right at a point of the way you are thinking about your business. That's all depends upon you. Like your project manager, your company people will be, your board members will be giving in a document like which consists of multiple objects in that. Like even there won't be the multiple objects. You are the right person to decide what are the objects to be created in the Salesforce when you're working on a project. So you are the whole and sole person who will be responsible for choosing the object and creating an object, considering this what will be the one object, what will be the many object. So that's all there upon you, right? Is it clear to you people choosing one object and many? And one more example, school and bus, school bus. School and bus. What will be the many object? What will be the one object? Obviously, this is very simple because school be like when I'm talking about the school, obviously I will be talking which are related to that school only, right? Which are related to that school only, school bus. So this will be a one object. This will be of many object because one school might be having multiple buses. We can't consider in the we can't consider in the way like there are multiple schools, there are multiple buses, so many to many relationships. We can't decide because when I'm talking about the school, what does it mean? I'm talking about that school only particularly. So that school might be having multiple buses for that school. So one object and many object. In the same way, when I'm talking about this bank and the customer, I can consider I'm talking about this bank only. This bank is having multiple customers. Got the point? So now you got to know how to decide one object, how to decide many object. So one more, just tell me this. Prime account and the customer. So which will be the many object, which will be the one object? So exactly prime is an so that is in a sort of business, right? So prime will be one object and the customer will be of many objects. This will be of one, this will be of many. So with this, I can conclude that you have a capability of choosing which one is a many object, which one is a one object. Now there should be some reason why I'm telling you this one object and many object, one object and many object, many object and one object. Because in the Salesforce, when you are creating a relationship, every time you need to create a relationship from the many object to one object. The relationship should be come from the many object to one object. Relation should be comes from the many object to one object. So let's assume the scenario here. Student, student and a teacher. So as per your data and the regular thing, this one is a one object, this one is a many object. So I made a statement like when you're creating a relationship between two objects, relationship should be created from the many object to one object. So what does it mean? The relation should be moved from this side to this side. Relation should be no worries. Relation should be moved from the one object to many objects. So let me create a lookup relationship for these two objects. Lookup. So how to create? I need to go for the student object now. So let me click on the student object. So I'm on the student object, going for the object manager, going for the object manager, picking the student, picking the student. From there, going for the fields and relationships. From there, going for the fields and relationships. And then after going for the new. Then after going for the new. Here you can see something like lookup relationship, master detail relationship, and the external lookup relationship. This external lookup relationship purely for the integration purpose, which is the quite advanced in the developer concept. So we are not discussing about this thing. And as I mentioned that there are two types of relationships. One is lookup relationship, one is master detail relationship, right? So just going for the lookup relationship. When I'm going for the lookup relationship, there is a statement here. You can see creating a relationship that links the object to another object. So we are linking from one object to another object. The relationship field allows user to click on the lookup icon to select the value from the pop-up list. So what it is telling, the related object. For example, we are creating a student record. In the student object, there will be one field with the lookup icon. If you click on that lookup icon, you can pick the value of the teacher. You can pick the value of the teacher. The other object is the source value of the value. So source value of this list. Got it? So lookup relationship, going for the next. And here you need to pick teacher, like employee, right? We have created employee. So we have created teacher itself, right? Okay. Like going for next. So leave the default things as it is and just going for next, next, next and save. next and save. So finally we have created a lookup relationship between the teacher and the student. So let's check how does it behaves on the front end screen. Currently we are on the back end screen. Let's go to the front end screen, then let's check how does it behaves on the front end screen. So let me make a refresh, because refresh is the most important when you're doing any kind of customization or configuration on the Salesforce, because we are working on a cloud. Every time we should interact with the cloud to the our machine to the cloud. So what are the changes you are doing, that gets reflected to the cloud, but from the cloud it also should reflect to your screen, right? Because we are doing changes in this screen, so we are expecting the changes in this screen. So only the thing we do have, the intermediate we do have, it is like an internet. So once I click on this refresh, automatically the call goes to the server side, and input comes from the server side. Got it? This is the sales application. Instead of sales application, let me go to the college application. Clicking on the college application, you can see there is a student. So let me click on new now. When I'm clicking on a new, automatically a teacher field has come here. You can see, does we created this teacher field? Do we created a teacher field like this? So this got highlighted just because of a lookup relationship. This is just because of the relationship which we are created from the student to teacher. So already there is a record here. For this record, let me open this and let me choose a record of teacher. Anything else? There is a teacher for this. No teacher. Automatically creating a teacher. Like let me create a teacher called Funny. Just making it save. So what does it mean? For this bracket student, Funny is the teacher. So just making it save. So let me go to the teachers. I can find one teacher will be there. For that one teacher, one student will be there in the related list. Student Rakesh. So let me come here. Let me create one more student like Rohit. If for this also the teacher is like Funny, just making it save. And let me go to the teacher and check how many students are there for this teacher. See, 2. Because when I'm creating a student, I'm choosing this teacher value. I'm choosing the teacher value. That is the reason. This is what exactly happens with the lookup relationship. And let me tell you the limitations of the lookup relationship. See, what is a parent object here? Teacher is a parent object, like one object, and the student is in a many object. When a parent object is deleted, let me delete this. When a parent object is deleted, the fields which are there in the, like the records which are there in the child set doesn't get affected. So the child field doesn't get affected. That means the child value the child record doesn't get deleted. And one more thing, when I'm creating a student record, you can see without creating of the student record also, I can save the data. Let me create like this, when cut. So just clicking on the save. So without a teacher value, I can create a student record. So master value is not a required value on a lookup object. Got it? And we can create 40 lookup relationships. We can create 40 lookup relationships. So I'm just repeating all those things. Like when we are deleting a master object record, child object doesn't get affected. First point. And the second point is master field value is not mandatory on a child object. Master field value is not a mandatory on a child object. Second point, we can create 40 lookup relationships for an object. So currently we are going with one relationship, right? Student to teacher. In that way, we can create for this teacher 40 lookup relationship with the different objects. Like a student, yeah, when I'm talking about the employee will be of different people, right? So one employee will be related to the bus in charge, one employee will be related to the college in charge, one employee will be related to the subject in charge, one employee will be the mess in charge. So in that way, we can create multiple like 40 different kinds of relationships in the lookup relationship. That is possible. What's the point? Looks everything is clear, right? So what I want to do is like I just want to wrap the session with this lookup, and tomorrow the basic things what we're gonna discuss is like, let me mention there. For the next session, what we discuss is like creation of the fields. So then after we do talk about the master detail relationships, then after junction object, and then after comparing junction object weights like lookup weights, it's MDR, master detail relationship. Okay, this will be the major topic for the next, and parallelly, then the next module we will start security model, or else we will discuss about the profile, user creation, creating a second user, user creations, and the role in the Salesforce. And if time permits, we will discuss about the security model. So this will be the topic for the next coming session. Let me mention this is in the next green, not green. Yeah, that let me mention the green and let me make it box so that I can refer this. Thick border. Yep. So this will be the next topic which we are discussing, and let me revise the things which we are discussing today. So initially we started with an object. So types of object, types of object. So what is custom object and what is standard object? Examples of the standard object and examples of the custom object. What are the standard fields gets created when we are creating a standard custom object? And the different ways of creating a object, different ways of creating object. What is tab? Types of tabs. What is application? Types of application. How to add a tab to the standard app. Then what are relationships? What is the relationship? What are relationships? And even we have seen the scenario when to use a proper way of creating an object, when to choose custom spreadsheet, when to choose schema builder, when to choose custom object. So these are the various topics. Even there are multiple things we have discussed, just mentioning the main important topics for this day. Hope everyone have understood and they have enjoyed the session which have been delivered. So there is a question in the chat, deleting custom object. Yes, we can delete a custom application. See, if you delete applications, only the application gets deleted. Tab and object doesn't get deleted because these are the independent things, right? We are clubbing all them together for our business sake. Teacher is different, student is different. If you are deleting teacher, how does the student get deleted? No, but data, when there is a relation between the data, when there is an MDR kind of relationship, the data gets deleted. But the entire thing doesn't get deleted. So everything is independent. Tab is independent, object is independent. But if you delete the object, tab gets deleted and the application is independent. So we are clubbing all them together for our business sake. So in the beginning, I was telling you that. So we are creating some kind of project which is helpful for the college, right? So for that sake, we are building all these kind of customization things using the admin concept in the Salesforce. Where do I get the session video? If you go for the Telegram group, in that Telegram group, you might be having an. So I'm just stopping mine, and as I told you that I will be sharing the Telegram link, right? And I will put in the chat itself now itself. Just the one who is not there in the Telegram group, you can just join the group now itself. There is a link I'm just putting on the chat for everyone. Just go through this. If you're there, need not to join. If you're not there in this Telegram group, this Telegram group is particular for you, 4-3 people. You can join the group. So in that Telegram group, the link updates will be the next session live updates, and all the kind of updates for this 4-3 will be mentioned in that. And even there is a pinned message in that where which allows you to go for the recording access sessions for the admin part. Got it? So if you have any kind of technical queries, see again and again I'm mentioning the mentors which are there in the group. The group which we are talking about is Telegram group, right? So the mentors which are there, they are purely related to the technical. If you are asking something like related to the platform change, if you are asking something related to track change, they might not help you. If you are asking any kind of technical queries like how to resolve an error when you're getting on solving a problem in the trial head. So these kinds of things will be helped in the Telegram group. So I suggest all you to go for the Telegram group and just start working on your trial modules. For sure, even we also providing a trial recording link for this also, but it doesn't happen for this night. It will happen by tomorrow morning. I'm just stopping the recording.
Yep. Recording stopped.
Right. We do provide this recording also even. And thanks for everyone being in the session, and see you on the next live session. On the next live session is there on the 31st 10th. 31st 10th. 31st of the 10th October. 31st of the October. Thank you everyone. Yeah, that is possible. Even any part of the world, they can join in this virtual internship. That is okay. They can. Yeah, the group name starts within a smart bridge SF VIP code 3. And thank you all. Thank you all. See you in the next session.